There's a lot of people that have no idea. They're completely confused why I'm here. It's just there's a foreigner living in the village, and I've tried to tell people again and again, and it's just such a strange concept to them that I would leave everything in America where I could make tons and tons of money and then come here and make very little money, and just to help them with things that are kind of important. But for me, like, I'm helping them a lot, especially with all those projects that I just named, and they're getting a whole lot out of it too. So when I first got here, I thought I knew it kind of well, and even like 6 months after that, I thought I knew it kind of well. But now I've been to 3 funerals and I think 3 or 4 weddings, and you really get to know the village that much better that way. And just the normal daily life, season after season. Especially going through the winter, there's a lot of foreigners that come here, and sometimes they'll live here for most of the year, but not the winter. Just the winters are very, very hard, very cold, and since I've been through that with them and all the weddings and marriages and deaths, then I think we all have a greater bond. And there's also flash floods just in June, and the village wasn't wiped out or anything, but still there was a lot of destruction in the village with the fields, and I was here to witness that and help them out as much as I could with that. So I mean, there's lots of areas that they could develop. They have a dirt road, that's it right now. But as far as sort of the infrastructure goes, I mean, they don't have like traditional infrastructure like we would think of, but like they have tons and tons of fields. They have 4 water reservoirs for watering the fields, and they have water that comes down from the mountains year-round. So they've got it pretty well together, but there's obviously, especially for hygiene and transportation, there are areas where they could improve, especially for hygiene. Here, well, there's 2 kinds of tourism, or income. One is agriculture, which is not very much. Very few people are just involved in agriculture, and they produce walnuts, apples, and cherries, and so they sell those to Marrakesh, or it gets taken outside of Imlo, outside of the valley here. And the other one is tourism, and so most of the people that are here in the village, especially the men, almost all the men are involved in tourism, whether it's driving taxis, especially for tourists, taking them wherever they want to go, to the desert or to the ocean or to the other mountains, or just up in the mountains, like being muleteers or guides. Everybody's involved in tourism one way or another, or the hotel that we're standing on. All the cities are almost like any modern city, almost in Europe or in America. They're very, very well developed. They have great infrastructure, and you can buy almost anything. But in the rural areas, they've been extremely neglected, just because the people in the cities are different kind of people, and they care about what happens in the cities, and in the country they don't care what happens. So now the rural areas are finally getting new development, which is good. It's right there on the border between a third world country and the second world country, like in the middle, It's right in the middle between the north and south there. And
on which side?
It's still in the third world, especially with the rural areas as they are, because there's so many rural areas, and there's still tons of villages that don't have electricity, water, or roads into the villages. And so people have to bring in things by donkeys or mules, and they have solar panels, which is nice for getting electricity. And the water, they're just used to drinking the water after, drinking the water their entire lives. But especially with the rural areas, they're not quite a developed country yet. So they have a little bit more to go. Maybe in 10 more years, they'll be there. But the current king, he ascended the throne in 1999. He's been working really, really hard at getting roads everywhere, electricity to every village, and drinking water to every village, which is very good.